Today we're cracking a secret that perhaps some big brands don't want you to know. Or not. I've got two glasses here with me, one coated with a product that cost me over $40 for a single can, the other one cost me less than $3 for a whole box. Both promise to be the best way to engrave glass with a diode laser. One is a professional grade marking spray made by xTool. The other one is a cheap kid's tempera paint. Today we're putting them through a 9-category showdown, scoring everything from price to scratch resistance to see which one really wins. Is the xTool professional marker worth the price, or is the cheap DIY tempera still the king? If you think the expensive pro spray always wins, stick around. You might be surprised. But before we get going, please take a second to subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. Glass is one of the trickiest materials for a diode laser to engrave. Bare glass usually engraves weak and patchy, if at all. I've tested a whole lineup of DIY coatings over time, from Sharpies, chalk paint, acrylics, even moly dry lube. To my surprise, tempera paint consistently gave me the cleanest, frostiest marks. But is that enough to beat a purpose-built xTool glass marking spray? That's what we'll find out today, and I'll score each coating as we go. On a side note, don't let the internet experts tell you stories. If you're curious about something, go on and try it yourself. Then share your experiences with us. You can find me on Facebook, Severna Builds. There are many different laser groups and communities there, and I'm often sharing my work. So come and find me. A quick question. Before we start, take a guess in the comments. Which one do you think will win this head-to-head? The $40 Pro spray or the $3 Kids paint? I will tally up the points at the end and reveal the overall winner. You know, this is all very scientific here.
So to settle this like true builders, we're going to use a point system based on categories that matters most to us DIYers. Category 1. Price and availability. Let's start with the obvious. Price and how easy it is to find. A single can of xTool spray cost around $35 plus shipping. I was able to find the spray on Amazon and also on xTool's US site. For my European friends, I tried a few searches on xTool's European site but couldn't find it. Not sure what that's about. I ended up sourcing it from a local shop that had it for about the same price as Amazon, including the shipping. Tempera? Well, that's less than $3 for an entire box of colors at almost any craft store. That's a huge difference. Keep in mind that different brands might use a different combination of materials and recipes, so your results may vary. Also, make sure that you check the box before you walk out of the store. My first box advertised all the colors, but black was missing. I still don't get it. Alright, our first category, price and availability. I'm going to give 10 points to the marking spray and 15 points to the tempera. Category 2, safety and eco factors. Safety matters in a small shop. Tempera is non-toxic, water-based, and almost has no odor. The xTool spray is a solvent base, so you'll need to spray outside or use a booth with PPE and all that good stuff because it is an aerosol chemical. The ability to apply tempera indoors makes a huge difference. Also, you will need to check with your waste management company or your homeowners association. But here where I live, I can't just throw a can of spray like this in the trash as it is considered a paint. Tempera tubes were not an issue whatsoever. So for category 2, safety and the eco factor, 6 points go to the spray and 10 points to the tempera. Category 3, application and drying. Next up, how easy it is to apply and get ready to engrave. The xTool marker spray was super easy to apply. Just a quick, uniform spray. It just goes so smooth and it dries in about 30 minutes. You have to get used to the nozzle and the spraying action. You can easily empty the can pretty quickly if you don't watch it. It tends to pool, and of course gravity will make it run real fast to the bottom. Also, you might think you went very light or that it wasn't enough. But I'm here to tell you a thin coat will work just fine. Just make sure it applied evenly, and if needed, just spot spray where you think you have gaps left. The tempera brushes on easily, yeah, but you will need to do a couple of coats, and at times you will get frustrated with it and your coats will be pretty heavy. As long as you don't have streaks of paint or too many grooves left by your brush or foam, you should be alright. I noticed that if you have an old brush or you have reused your foam too many times, it will leave lines on the tempera. Well, those lines will show up later on your marking job. You will see what I mean. Tempera will take longer to cure, but it can dry easily if you hit it with a heat gun or a hair dryer. If you let it dry by itself, it can take around 45 minutes to dry, and even more if your coat went on too heavy. With the heat gun, it was a matter of a couple of minutes to have a dry surface. Ideally, you will let it dry naturally and perhaps wait overnight for the paint to cure. We are combining application, ease, and drying prep time here. So category 3, application and drying time. We have 12 points for the marking spray and 10 points for the tempera when it comes to the application. And for the drying time, we have 3 points for the marking spray and 2 points for the tempera. The ease of the spray and the quick drying definitely earned the pros some points here. Category 4, shelf life and storage. DIYers like me don't engrave glass every week. So how long does the product last after opening really matters. The aerosol can of xTool has a much longer shelf life and stays usable until empty. Just make sure you store it accordingly, watch the temp, and give it a good shake from time to time. Tempera, if capped tightly, lasts months but can dry out or separate. From what I found, you should use it within 6 months once you open it. It has an average shelf life of about 2 years when unopened. Just follow the storage instructions and you should be alright. Shelf life and storage, I think this one goes to the marking spray with 9 points, and not too far behind, we find tempera with 8 points. Category 5, quantity per use. How far does one bottle or can go? The spray can coat very well but wastes some material as it oversprays. As I mentioned earlier, it will take you some practice to get that nozzle memory and not to apply too much. I should have weighed the can before starting, but I was too eager to get going. I can tell you that I sprayed about 8 or 9 glasses on all sides. Yeah, I know, I was too eager. I also sprayed a couple of stainless steel, those flat bottle openers, and I think I have enough for a few more. So that's the hope anyway. Tempera is thick, but is somewhat easy to spread. A little goes a long way. These tubes were 12 ounces each, not the biggest, but they have lasted me for about the same amount of glasses as with the spray. It is a bit of a pain to apply. I'm not a fan. Not at all. I did dilute it a little bit to see if that helped, but it didn't make it easier to apply. It's just a pain. And this is why, and I have to thank a lot of people out there on Facebook for advising me, I went out and got myself an airbrush. My plan is to use it with the tempera as I prepare more glasses, and with acrylic paint to prepare my canvases and save on the cans of spray paint. I will do a full review of the airbrush and show you how it does on glass and canvases. Let me know down in the comments if this is something you want to check out, or if you have any experiences or tips that you want to share with us that can help me with that learning curve. I would appreciate your help. So for the quantity per use, I'm going to give 10 points to the marking spray and 8 points to the tempera. Category 6, cleanup. After engraving, you will need to wash the coating off. This is true for the tempera and for the marking spray. Tempera rinses under tap water very quickly, but sometimes it leaves little streaks that need a second rinse. Thanks to a tip from one of our viewers, I let the water warm up a little bit and wash it. I found that it does help, so all you need is water at this point. That's it. Your sink will look pretty scary as you wash the tempera off, but you will see how easy it is to remove it from the sink as well. Don't forget to wash your foam brushes or your regular brush if that's what you're using. But if you don't do it right away, don't worry about it. It will wash off very easily as well. The marking spray rinses even cleaner and faster with less residue, and you don't even see it on the sink. I had a rag ready, soap, alcohol, gloves, the works. That worked well, of course, but I soon realized it just needs water. It was so easy, it was just great. Plus, there's no need to wash the sink or brushes or anything like that. The cleanup, well, they're both pretty easy, but being that the spray is just crazy easy to clean, I will give it 5 points and 4 points to the tempera. Hey, listen, at this point, they're both neck and neck here, which is great news for both products. Category 7, quality of engraving. Now, this is the most important part, the engraving itself, I think. We're looking at the frostiest texture, the evenness, smoothness, and the clearest detail. I coated 2 glasses with tempera and 2 with the marking spray. By the way, I'm using the xTool's RA2, the rotary attachment here. It works very well for the marking of glasses and pretty much anything round you want to engrave. I uploaded a video not too long ago where I show you how to do mugs, tumblers, pens, dowels, and I also engrave an egg just for the sake of it. You will see the card above, and I will also leave the link down in the description. If you're doing glasses or tumblers, I would say this RA2 is truly a game changer. Also, you might want to look into the deluxe package that will allow you to tilt things and you won't need to use my DIY wedging approach here. As always, I went ahead and set up my material test using XES, which is the software I use with my xTool S1 laser engraver. I ran a material test grid at various speeds and power settings. I never get tired of watching this process. It's just amazing to me that this light can go through this coating and produce such great engravings. I just heard a lot of people having issues with xTool Studio. I'm not sure if it's a technical issue or simply because it's a brand new piece of software and people are just getting used to it. I've seen a lot of people commenting on Facebook about it. So if you guys want me to look into it, I have absolutely no problem. I'm actually looking forward to it. So I can make a video for you guys to go over the new xTool Studio and see what that's all about. So once the marking job was done, I took both sets of glasses to the bathroom, washed them off, and checked out the results. The marking spray showed slightly crispier edges and more uniform frost, a nice finish, and very, very smooth. The tempera held up very well, just a touch less sharp in the fine details, but good color. The issue with the details has to do with the marks left by the brush. I am positive. Right, if you notice the bevel here, that glass has that really sharp angle. I had to use a makeshift wedge here to prop up the RA2 just a little bit. You will see that some of the stars on the bottom row are not looking very crisp, and some of them look a bit long. That's just because of that angle at the bottom of the glass. But me, being me, I was not satisfied with my first test, being that the bevel on this beer glasses was too steep. I went and prepared 2 clean sides there using the flat glasses from the previous video. I marked a couple of stars just to see my settings a little better. The results are very even, but I can tell you that the marking spray is more even and has more detail. The tempera has a little bit brighter look to it, but it's less consistent. I ran and engraved a couple more images, some that should be familiar to you by now. Oh, look at that. A great reminder to go and subscribe. It will only take you a second, I promise. And thank you. For the quality of the engraving, which I think has a lot to do with the way we apply the coating, I will give 14 points to the spray and 13 points to the tempera. Wow, this is very close. I mean, based on this test stars and all these various random engravings, these coatings are very even here. So at this point, we've chosen our best settings. Now we gotta go check out those full designs, see what we get. But first, we need to check durability here. Now we're gonna do a quick check for scratch resistance on the engraved mark. Both are permanent once engraved, but the spray's finer frost seem to resist light scratches just a little bit better. Now, I'm scratching here a little bit too hard, and in no way you will put your glasses to this kind of abuse. I hope. But this is YouTube, right? We have to overdo it at times. Not sure how many of you will stick a sharp object on your engravings, but on this category, I will give 5 points to the marking spray and 4 points to the tempera. Category 9, various engravings. So here's the running total so far. The tempera total comes to 74 points, and the marking spray totals is 74 points. Neck and neck all the way. Now, the moment of truth. Category 9, the final design engravings. Various images, logos, thick and thinner lines, curves, and so on. This is for a total of 15 points here. I went ahead and downloaded a couple of different logos and images from Creative Fabrica. Being that I had sprayed the entire glass with the marking spray, I know, I thought to take advantage of the amount of real estate I have available to me. I did a craft beer logo, and both the tempera and the spray did very well. Now, you will see they both look a little less than ideal when you get closer to the bottom of the glass. That is due to the bevel. If I had enough clearance to further angle the glass, I think I would get a more even engraving. If you want to go for the sure approach, just keep your engraving area to the flatter part of the glass, closer to the edge. In my case, that was a good 5 or 6 centimeters from the edge of the glass. Make sure you plan your spraying or coating accordingly, and that way you won't waste material in the same way I did. So, knowing all this and thinking things a little bit better, and not wanting to deal with the bevel, I kept my logos and images smaller and using that top part of the glass. I got this little bear beard and marked it very nicely. Same with the Severna Builds like logo. Not actually my logo, but thought it looked very cool. So kudos to the creator there on Creative Fabrica. Finally, a cool lion with glasses. What else you want? I was just browsing and I came across this guy and I thought it was way too cool not to try it. Alright, I know I went too heavy on the amount of engravings here. I had the glasses prepped, I had the real estate, and if you have done this kind of testings or experiments and you're not working on a production batch, you know how difficult it is to stop and walk away from the laser at this point. It is what it is. I will use the glasses with my favorite ale at one point, so no worries. So I went back again to the sink and removed that tempera and the marking spray. Both came off very easily again, but the spray is way easier. And here you have them, side by side, washed and ready. Let me use this cheap black leatherette so you can see a little better. You can see that the marking spray has the deeper, more consistent frosted texture. It is more even, the shapes are nicely marked, and it is just very smooth. The tempera is good though, all things considered. Again, I think the lower quality of the engraving has more to do with the brush and the marks left on the glass. This makes the laser engrave the ridges that it comes across. It is what it is, I just can't wait to try that airbrush. And in this category, I have to give the points to the marking spray. 12 points out of 15. For the tempera, I will award it 10 points total. So after 9 categories, the overall winner by just 2 points is the Pro Marking Spray Paint. Congratulations. The lesson here is that both give a professional looking result from a DIYer opinion, of course. You don't have to overspend to engrave glass well. Tempera dominated the price and safety categories, and it achieved great quality when it came to the marking, frosted texture, and overall ease of use. But the professional spray was more consistent, a very smooth finish, very easy to use. I think if you're marking glasses for your business, I would not hesitate and recommend you use the marking spray. If you're engraving a couple of glasses here and there just for yourself, for friends, as gifts, or selling them as DIYer, tempera is a very good alternative to those more expensive commercial sprays. You will need to take your time and get your settings right and work on your painting technique. And if you have an airbrush, perhaps you will get even closer results to the pro coatings. If you're a DIYer, I hope this side-by-side review makes you feel like you finally cracked a secret the big brands perhaps don't want you to know, saving you both money and frustration when choosing your next coating.
As always, this week's video is dedicated to my supporters on Patreon. You guys are awesome and make every week possible here in the shop, so thank you. Did the winner surprise you? Which one will you use in your shop? Comment down below. If you want to see how tempera stacked up against all the other DIY coatings, Sharpies, moly dry lube, and acrylic paint, check out the earlier video linked right here. If you're curious to know more about xTool's marking spray, go watch this other video. Since tempera keeps doing so well, my next project is setting up an airbrush to see if we can coat glass even more evenly. So stay tuned and happy engraving. Well, that's it for this week. Severna Builds out. So long.